So what can you do? The best thing you can do is practice good hygiene. Wash your hands regularly. Use hand sanitizer. And please remember to cough into your elbow, not your hand, because what you're going to do is you're going to grab your phone, you're going to grab door handles, you're going to shake someone else's hand, and all you're doing is spreading germs.
You've seen the safety campaigns that push for longer crosswalk times, but Smart Growth America says that the problem is much deeper than that. The group says most large cities were built with cars in mind and not pedestrians, and that's what they say needs to change.
The idea is to allow more customers to come out to restaurants and to retailers and be able to social distance. Here, the owners of Johnny Angels already have this tent set up in their parking lot, and they're ready to put more tables outside. When I was going live with you guys about an hour ago, we were getting hit with that rain. It was a pretty good rain band there, but right now it's quieted down a little bit when it comes to rain. But I do want to show you the conditions out here when it comes to the wind. The neighbors I spoke with today say that they did not hear any gunshots yesterday, which would make sense because this home behind me doesn't have neighbors on either side. You can see there are trees here, an open area, and then over on the other side, more trees, no neighbors over there as well. But they were all shocked and saddened to hear about this tragedy. And Tanika, this doctor who I spoke with was clear. He says the flu is not like the coronavirus. For starters, there's a vaccine readily available for the flu, but he says that the biggest problem with this inaccurate statement is that many people will believe it and let their guard down. It's really up to the voter to double check to make sure that their application was accepted. I have the application right here, actually. It's a very short application, just that bottom half that you have to fill in. But the key here is you have to read the instructions. It sounds simple, but not everybody reads the instructions, and that's where the errors happen. And John, right now the exact cause is not clear, but a lot of people seem to be pointing out the weather. We know that yesterday there was a lot of rain in this area, and if you take a look here, you could see the cracks there. On top of this roof, there was a large AC unit that now sits in the lobby area. It is a beautiful day to be out here today. There's a really nice breeze. The sun is out, and for the most part, I've been seeing a lot of people enjoying themselves on the sand. Somebody who works at this restaurant, Uptown Swinery, came out, asked us what we were doing, and they actually didn't know about this program until I told them about it. So the employee says they're going to check it out, and tomorrow is the deadline, so they still have time. Para todos que hablan español, tenemos un sitio web en nuestra página web, actionnewsjax.com. Esa dirección está en pantalla ahora mismo. It's such an issue that the district reached out to me to spread the word among Spanish speakers in our community, but it's not just those who speak Spanish that they're worried about. We have a large Bosnian community, a lot of Arabic speakers here in our area, just to name a few.
A lot of intricate things here because this is a huge project that could really change the face of the entire city of Jacksonville. So I'm going to go step in again, and I will bring you another update at 6. A nice lady here knitting, but you know what? Don't be fooled because her phone was ringing just a moment ago. She's just doing this in between phone calls. Call me. Exactly. What did you say? Call me. Call me. There you go. She wants you to call her. So you have about 20 minutes to go. The Department of Justice says it'll provide $356,196 in grant funding to hire a special prosecutor whose job will be to try firearms cases from Duval, Clay, and Nassau counties in federal court. Standing in the venue right now because the venue, as you mentioned, is this parking lot. You can see it's been pretty busy here today. We've seen a lot of people coming in and out. They're either registering to vote or some people are picking up their mail-in ballots. They're filling them out right here at the office, and then they're turning them in right here. They're just dropping them into this slot. St. Augustine Beach saw the worst damage, and you can see the erosion here. This is probably the most dramatic portion of the beach. You can see much of this up and down the coastline. If you're a low-risk patient, all you really need is your cell phone and the Mayo Clinic app. But if you're high risk, Mayo Clinic provides you with more support. Many people might think that, well, nearly 13,000, that's not that many ballots. But for an election that's expected to be close, that could be significant. But staff members here at the Supervisor of Elections Office will be counting military ballots well after the election. That is just one example of the progress that we've made in 60 years. And another one of those examples is the fact that that Confederate soldier that used to stand right here in the middle of this plaza is no longer there. And there's so many other reasons why many Hispanics voted for President Trump. And by the way, just to be clear, Trump did not win over all Hispanics in the state of Florida, but he did make large gains this time. The boy
boy also brought 2 partial boxes of ammunition here to his school, the Lighthouse Christian School. And I also spoke with the teacher who also gave her report card of the day, and she told me that she felt pretty good about the first day of school here in Clay County.
What you're looking at right now is a photo of Heidi Rivas Villanueva. It was given to us at a vigil right after this incident happened. I still have it with me. She wanted to be a doctor. Her parents brought her to this country so that opportunity might have become a reality, but now it never will. Her parents say they will spend a lifetime mourning their little girl. And by the way, her younger sister, to this day, still asks when her sister is coming home. Reporting from downtown, Lorena Inclán, Fox 30, Action News Jax. First step in becoming a sailor is looking the part. So I traded in my news reporter outfit for Navy coveralls.
Now it's official. Now you are a shipmate. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Now I was ready to begin my 24-hour deployment aboard the USS Harry S. Truman.
On the bow, stay clear of catapults, Captain.
It's complicated precision choreography. Every step, every hand motion, and every detail matters. It has to, because the slightest mistake could cost a life. But these men and women have mastered this dance. Meet the sailors of the USS Harry S. Truman. Captain Nicholas Diena is commanding officer of this floating city of about 5,500 sailors.
It's my job to be right all the time. As a captain at sea, fortunately, I have a ton of help.
Something we saw firsthand. Action News Jax was the only local station invited aboard the ship for a training exercise called SUSTEX.
The point of SUSTEX is to rehone our combat skills and ensure we're ready to deploy wherever and whenever required.
For security reasons, we weren't told where we were going, only that we were getting there aboard a C-2 Cod. We suited up with a life vest, goggles, and a not-so-comfortable helmet. An hour and a half later, we landed aboard the Truman, somewhere along the East Coast. That's when the real fun began. Standing just inches away from F-18s taking off and landing, you get a huge sense of the professionalism and the teamwork. Being on the flight deck is a unique experience. This is where you really get to see the power of America's Navy. If you take a look here, all these F-18s behind me can take off in a moment's notice because one of the primary jobs of this aircraft carrier is to conduct air combat missions. But what happens up here goes hand in hand with what goes on down here, below deck, where Jacksonville native Ray Brown works. He's in charge of cleaning the fuel before it's pumped into the jets.
Nothing on the ships get moved without me. No planes fly, no tractors move on the flight deck before I make sure everything is good and situated.
It's a crucial part of the ship many don't get to see. For Brown, it's a sense of purpose.
It's scary and it's overwhelming sometimes, but that's why I love it, because I know I'm important and I'm needed.
But it's not all work aboard the Truman. Sailors get to unwind, even meditate, and some exercise. There's even a Starbucks and a post office on board. We spent 24 hours on board with our local sailors, all day and all night. This ship and her crew are in constant motion because the mission never stops. Life on board, it's not easy, but everyone knew that coming in. These Truman sailors are ready to serve, prepared for anything that may come their way. Lorena Inclán, CBS 47, Action News Jax.
It was, John. We heard from several speakers here behind me in the middle of the plaza, including a well-known faith leader, Bishop Rudolph McKissick Sr., and he said that today was not a celebration. He says that we should save the celebration for the day when they no longer have to fight for equality because it'll be the norm.
I just want to live. God protects me.
13-year-old Jacksonville native Keedron Bryant's I Just Want to Live has become the battle cry for many Americans who feel their rights don't matter. 60 years ago, those same feelings were being felt by young black people who protested by sitting in at whites-only lunch counters in downtown Jacksonville, only to be met by groups of white men who beat them with axe handles and baseball bats. Charlie Griffin was hurt that day. His bloody photo became an icon of the civil rights movement.
that was something that my father never talked about to us, and we could understand why.
Griffin's son, Devandis, drove down from Atlanta to attend the 60th commemoration of Axe Handle Saturday. On that day, his dad wasn't even part of the sit-ins.
He was downtown shopping for his school clothes for his senior year in high school when he was attacked.
As people gathered in downtown, this empty pedestal on top of the Confederate monument is a reminder that we are making progress. But the unrest we've seen at home and across the country shows us there's still a long way to go.
You know, when your car, your check engine light comes on, and it lets you know that you're up for some repairs. If you ignore that long enough, the car going to eventually break down. You know, and that's where we're at. America's broken, and it needs to be fixed.
And during today's event, they showed some footage from that day in 1960 that not a lot of people have seen, and there's a reason why we don't have a lot of video from that day. I'll explain that coming up at 6. And Letitia, according to the sheriff's office, the boy also brought 2 partial boxes of ammunition here to his school, the Lighthouse Christian School, just off of US 1 in Callahan. The director of this school tells me the boy will be expelled. A large revolver and 2 semi-automatic pistols. That's what Sheriff Bill Leeper says his deputies recovered from a 12-year-old boy who brought these weapons to school.
It's scary that something like this would happen, that a kid would take a gun to school, much less 3 guns.
Action News Jax showed you at 4 how a teacher noticed the boy had 2 lunch boxes and one seemed heavy.
She's to be commended. She did a great job, and that's what we want our students protected by our teachers and being proactive.
2 of the guns were found inside the lunchbox, and a 3rd was on the student, according to the sheriff's office. When asked why he brought them to school, this is what the director of the school told me.
He said he wanted to show them.
He wanted to show them to other students?
Well, he said he wanted to show them to me.
The child's mom told deputies that her son recently accidentally killed the family Chihuahua with a pellet rifle when he was unsupervised.
This student's been with us for about 2 years, maybe longer, but I've never had any issues with him like that.
The report also details how staff found a disturbing drawing at the boy's desk showing a man outside of a school with guns, surrounded by dead bodies, covered in red marker. Now, the incident report says that other students were also shown these guns. The child has been turned over to juvenile justice, where the sheriff's office says he could be facing a felony and serious consequences. Next at 6, why the sheriff's office says the child's mom could also face charges. Reporting live from Callahan, Lorena Inclan, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
What's the time to sing? Hello.
This is how this very special music class begins at Neptune Beach Elementary School. We first introduced you to this class in April of last year when it was a 10-week pilot program. Today, it's year-round thanks to much-needed funding.
Sing, 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 sing it now.
Karen DeMuth is the executive director of Connecting Through Music. Her organization was just awarded a $161,000 grant from the Kids Hope Alliance.
This grant is allowing us to go to schools, programs, communities, and offer after-school enrichment with music therapy.
The grant also helps pay for quality music therapists. Stephen Amber owns First Coast Music Therapy. He says he sees the improvement firsthand.
We're using music as a tool to accomplish other things.
Every word,
take a scarf and put it in your hair,
and every movement is intentional. The songs are made up of these core words that help the children in their everyday lives.
If you ever doubted in the power of music, all you have to do is meet someone like Tomas. This is his 2nd year taking this class, and he's come a long way.
Tomas used to take his shoes off during the lesson instead of paying attention, but now he's all in.
See him participating in a group from start to finish and staying in his seat and paying attention to teacher is just really wonderful.
While the grant will help the program expand, it does not mean it'll sustain them for good.
Just to provide the music to these 2 schools, it runs just about $200,000 a year.
Which is why DeMuth is hoping you'll keep them in mind this giving season. Lorena Inclan, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.